Hoo-ah. Welcome back to the video. Brief one today. Want to speak on my experiences as a drifter, a vagabond. What I did, why I did it. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Let's get right on into it. So, my experiences with vagabonding started in college. I was in school. It was fine. Let's get my bachelor's degree. I've been working HVAC for a while, maybe 6 months, 7, 8, 9 months at that point. And it was fine. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about who I didn't want to be, especially the people who were surrounding me at that time, how I didn't want their lives, how they had multiple children from different women, all sorts of substance abuse problems. And I could clearly see that they were stuck. They were stuck in a mode of living where they were constantly in survival mode, having to grind, having to continue to go do some shit that they don't really care about in order to survive. And that's because they weren't able to control their lust. They weren't able to control their tendency to consume addictive substances. And so it kept them trapped in this rat race and endless cycle of grinding, consuming, spending, etc. And I realized I did not want my life to look like that because it was fucking shit. Wake up very early, 3:30 in the morning, on the road at 4:30. You're gone all day. You're gone all day. You're driving an hour and a half, whatever. You're crawling under houses. It's 103 degrees. Dirty as fuck. Black widows everywhere. Just some of the dirtiest, horriblest, shittest work you can do. And I'm very glad that I experienced that at age 19, 20. Because I understood what is possible and what the majority of men and people have to deal with. And there was something I was pretty proud of, which is I spent no money. I spent very little money just because I could see how there's no off-ramp when you spend all your money. When you save your money, you always have an exit plan. You have a cushion. You have time. You have time to figure shit out, what you want to do. And I realized at that point, the only thing I really gave a shit about was my health. It was my health. And this was an extremely anti-health job. And no amount of money to me is going to be worth sacrificing the only thing that has any value in this world, which is going to be your health and your time, in order for this fiat currency, which is made up. They make this shit up out of nothing, print it out of nothing, and people chase it for the rest of their life in order to maintain material possessions, garner more status, buy more shit that they don't need and they won't be able to use because they're working so much and grinding so much. So took my savings, went and bought a van, converted that van. It was a pretty shit van, I didn't care. Threw a mattress in the back and I was off. Done with my lease on the apartment, not a lot of possessions, I was free. So I went off, finished college through there. Through this time, I explored a lot of shit, which I loved. And that lack of financial pressure allowed me to do things I really enjoyed. I focused very, very heavily on my health. I lost a lot of weight. I became very strong. I traveled all over the state, saw a bunch of cool places, met a bunch of cool characters, had some cool experiences. I was able to start running my own little business, which was house sitting, pet sitting, as well as selling digital products online and beginning to make videos and just enjoying the shit out of that. And this whole time I was saving money because my expenses were so low. I had no desire for material possessions or any of these normal things that are sold to us as the bill of goods and what we should strive for in this society, in the United States society. And I started to look at everyone very differently. I started to look at everyone as chained. They were chained up. They had a mortgage. They had a kid to feed. They had a wife they had to take care of. All this shit, man. All this shit. And I didn't really care for that because I looked at them and they were fucking miserable, man. They had no time for their health. They had no time for the things they actually enjoyed. And I wanted nothing to do with it. I was very detached from the society. So I did that for about a year, saved a good amount of money. And because of this, I got to experience even more. Because this discipline, this ability to detach yourself from the societal norm. I saved a lot of money and I went traveling, man. I went traveling. I worked overseas in Honduras in a school, and that blew my mind open. Just holy shit, how big the world is, how different cultures live, how weird and anti-life the United States culture is. Seeing these people in Honduras, how little they had and how happy they were, even though they were in, quote, abject poverty. Their wealth came from community. Their wealth came from making sure they were eating fresh food every day. Connection to the spirit world. Many of them were Catholic over there. And that really just opened my mind as to what is possible. How you can move through the world untethered to possessions. As long as you're mobile, swift, light, lean. And that's what happened. So did that for a while. Finished school. I was in that van for maybe a year and a half. There were bad times as well. Just like anything. Just if you're living a normal life. But I much preferred it. I remember working out in the park. Just doing pull-ups. Just being sort of a vagabond. Sort of a street monk. Fucking loved it. This detachment from wanting shit allowed me to pursue the things I love to do. Explore that. Artistic creation, making sure you're healthy, etc. Living on very little allowed me to experience all that. And oh my God, once I tasted that freedom, it's addicting. How are you gonna go back to living like a normal life after that shit? There ain't no way. So I finished college. I had some different apartments, different women, all this shit, but it mostly stressed me out, I would say, pursuing money. I had different jobs. I was in sales for a while. I lived in the big city, San Francisco, selling software, making good money, whatever. And it was fine. The whole time I just looked at everyone as chained up. I remember my sales manager, he made all of this money. And he's on his third marriage. The kids hate him, fat as fuck. A bunch of cars, whatever. And his message to me was, Oliver, grind like me, and then one day you can have the shit I have. And I'm like, bro, I don't want anything you have. Like, you look like shit. Like, your life just looks like a living hell. You cannot walk up the stairs without being out of breath. You're trapped. So you have that mortgage. That mortgage, they got their hooks in you, because that's what debt is. Debt is modern enslavement. It is a claim on your energy, your finite life source. Say, hey, motherfucker, that shit ain't yours. For the next several years, we're going to take a piece of that life energy, and you're going to be working for us. I don't know about all that shit, kid. I'm not interested in that. So I moved back into the car, converted it. It's a little bit messy now. My life is simple, and that's what I realized is extraordinarily important through all these travels. All these different experiences. Simplicity and discipline is freedom. When your life is very simple and you own very little things, you get to focus on the things that are genuinely important to you, which is water, physical movement, being around people who aren't horrible, being outside in nature, pursuing artistic expression. Not chaining yourself up to some idea of who you should be or some societal expectation of things you should have at a certain age, etc. So that is my experience of vagabonding, drifting. Loved it. Loved the shit out of it. I go into more of the adventures, but we don't have to talk about that. And there's bad things too, of course. It's isolating. It's lonely. People aren't going to understand why you do what you do, and that's fine. It's really my thoughts on it. If you have any questions about it, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. Peace.